$198, now just $25.48. Or the Queen Beauty Rest Black L-Class Firm was $26.99, but the floor model is just $13.49. Plus, save with massive markdowns on adjustable bases, starting at $287. It's like buying a Rolls Royce for $10,000 just because it sat on the showroom floor. Selection is limited. Only a few floor models are available at each Hasselist location, and when they're gone for good. Find a self-service, employee-free showroom near you at Hasselist.com.
Adrian was seriously injured when a careless driver merged into her lane.
Gruber was there for everything that I needed. Any questions that I had, Gruber was there. They made me feel like everything about my situation and my accident was very important to them, and that made me feel good. And I would definitely call Gruber again for that.
Serving Wisconsin for over 35 years, Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They go above and beyond for their clients.
Change the way you do business and take more control of the payment process with Fifth Third Bank's Treasury Management Solutions. Their market expertise and managed services streamline the entire payment process and integrate with your existing systems, giving you more control than ever. With their suite of payment solutions, you will soon recognize new revenue sources that can save time, offset operating costs, and improve the bottom line, all customized for your business. Fifth Third Bank National Association. Custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Summerfest is finally here. And we're broadcasting live from the Fellow Windows and Doors of Wisconsin Mobile Studio. All the sounds of Summerfest go through here. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 9:01, it is 72 degrees, partly cloudy skies, bit humid this afternoon. Chance of a rain shower as well, a high of 77. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Mike Spalding. More recklessness on the roads in southeast Wisconsin. A pregnant woman losing her unborn child. A teenager shot by police in a full freeway shutdown Thursday. Milwaukee police say that they were pursuing a vehicle driven by teens who were presumed to be connected to a pair of armed robberies and carjackings in Milwaukee earlier in the day.
Suspect driver drove forward and then reversed the vehicle. An officer was located behind the vehicle at that time. At this time, another officer discharged his firearm into the vehicle, subsequently striking two suspects.
And one of those suspects shot at an 18-year-old woman from Milwaukee. She did suffer life-threatening injuries. Her baby did not survive. The other suspect, a 17-year-old boy, suffered serious injuries. Two people are dead following a high-speed crash overnight. Milwaukee police said that a black Kia was traveling at a high rate of speed when it lost control and slammed into a pole near 27th and Center. That's on Milwaukee's north side. The 23-year-old driver of that vehicle and a 27-year-old passenger both pronounced dead at the scene. It is day number 2 of Summerfest, also marking Sarah Pancari's first year as CEO. She tells WTMJ, spanning the state, her vision for enhancing the festival moving forward.
We're building on what this community has cultivated for 56 years, right. And our secret sauce is the diversity of the entertainment that we offer. You know, I think you'll continue to see us do even more things that enhance the music experience.
Day 2 of the big gig does open up at noon today. Could be another cloudy and potentially wet one on the Summerfest ground. Storm Team 4 meteorologist Brendan Johnson says some of the rain will be in the Fox Valley before moving into southeast Wisconsin tonight.
Could start the day with a few pop-ups in the early afternoon, and then things become a little bit more scattered as they move in from the northwest a bit later on this evening, and then they kind of begin to lose their strength as they make their way towards Milwaukee.
Well, we'll have your full 5-day forecast coming up after the news. The Marquette community mourning one of its own. The funeral for former President Mike Lovell held Thursday.
I miss him terribly, but I am so grateful for the 36 amazing years with him.
That's Lovell's wife, Amy. She was one of several speakers to eulogize him. Lovell died on June 9th while on pilgrimage in Rome. He had been battling sarcoma, which is a rare form of cancer, for 3 years. He was 57 years old. Sports, traffic, weather next. Citing unlimited, WTMJ News Times, 9:04.
Vince Vitrano for Absolute Comfort HVAC and Electrical. I'm joined by Nicole. She and her husband Brent own the company. Nicole, why should folks call you guys?
Because we treat your home like ours. That means honest and high quality work. We want you to be a part of our family. We're there for your emergencies when you need it, but most important to us is building a long-term relationship for all of your HVAC and electrical needs.
Absolute Comfort HVAC and Electrical, 262-664-9284, yourcomfortguys.com.
Welcome to Summerfest.
Hey, Julia, you know what my favorite part of Summerfest is?
The food.
No.
The music.
Not that either. It's broadcasting live from the Summerfest grounds in our Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
It's Summerfest 2024, and we're there live all fest long.
Come say hi when we broadcast live from the Summerfest grounds during Wisconsin's afternoon news, 3 to 6 p.m. right here on Wisconsin's radio station, WTMJ.
Sleep apnea is a serious condition. And the worst part about it is, because it affects you while you're sleeping, you don't know what this condition is doing to you.
And it was scary because I found out that I was waking up 145 times an hour. 145 times. I was scared. I wasn't getting the sleep I needed.
And that's the thing. Someone like John wakes up after thinking he's slept all night, and he's been feeling run down for years, and finally finds out something really is wrong. This is why, for us, solving sleep apnea problems is so gratifying, because we really are changing lives.
I've had more energy. I'm getting better sleep. I've been told from my wife I don't snore, but honestly, it changed my life.
This is Dr. Madan Kandula. Solving your breathing triangle problems means a better quality of life, and you deserve that.
Go to AdventKnows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
And time for some news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up right now 66 points at 39,198. The NASDAQ down 58.5 at 17,662. The S&P 500 down 11.5 points at 5461. Time now for a WTMJ Sports Update. The Brewers start their series off in San Diego on a sour note, falling to the Padres 7-6 last night. Back in San Diego for Game 2 tonight. Coverage on WTMJ is at 8:05. The Stanley Cup Final could be finalized tonight. The Florida Panthers can win the first cup in franchise history if they can put away the Edmonton Oilers. Taking a look at your roads and your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving. Time save for traffic. Not much to look at. Travel is looking good across the system. Your WTMJ 5-day forecast, partly cloudy skies, humid today, chance of an evening shower in southeast Wisconsin, a high 77. Overnight tonight, again, chance for some rain, possible thunderstorms. They'll be scattered, a low 66. Tomorrow, hot, humid, partly cloudy skies, evening showers are likely, a high 88 degrees. Sunday, mostly sunny, 80s your high. Monday, mostly sunny, 81. Tuesday, hot, humid, partly cloudy, chance for some rain, a high of 90 degrees. Right now in Milwaukee, it's 76 degrees. I'm Mike Spalding, Sighting Unlimited, WTMJ News Times, 9:07.
Good morning, Wisconsin. So let's pour that coffee and talk to some experts about what's going on in Milwaukee, Madison, Washington, and beyond. Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. It's the Political Power Hour on WTMJ. In for Steve Scafidi, here's Kristen Bry.
Should we talk about the government?
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. I am Kristen Bry, filling in for Steve Scafidi, who's going to be back on Monday. But I am over. I asked for this. I was not asked. I asked for this because one of my favorite things every Friday is catching Bill McCoshen and Joseph Pecky either before or after you guys come in here and do your thing.
Steve thinks he's coming back on Monday. I'm not so sure.
Yeah, right? Buckle up.
So I'm thrilled. Obviously, this is the OG Political Power Hour of you two. I've been a fan since you guys took over this hour, and I'm very excited to be here to try to moderate you two.
One complaint occurs to me. I really enjoyed being the youngest person in the room.
Not anymore, brother.
I can't coast on that anymore.
Not anymore.
Too old, guys.
Yeah.
All right, let's dive right in because Trump was in Wisconsin this week, and he loves Milwaukee.
He loves Milwaukee. I think there are 3 takeaways from this event. Number one is he was able to clean up the misperception about what he had said about Milwaukee. He started his speech with he loves Milwaukee. He chose Milwaukee for the RNC.
Says so.
And I think that was really, really smart. The other two untold big pieces of this event were he did not mention Robin Voss once. Robin Voss appears to have dodged yet another potential recall. His primary opponent has dropped out of the race, so Robin Voss will continue to serve the people of Burlington and Racine County and will be the speaker again in January. And so that was lost on a lot of the press that Trump never mentioned Voss. And thirdly, Tommy Thompson and Scott Walker came together on the same stage to support Trump. Why is that relevant? You might remember that they supported different candidates for governor in 2022. Walker for Clayfish, Thompson for Michaels. Thompson won that primary. And then again in the Supreme Court race, Thompson was with Doro and Walker was with Kelly. So this is the first time they've been together on the same candidate this early in a long time.
They haven't done that before for Trump?
Maybe for Trump in 2020, but the last couple cycles they've been sort of out of sync, and now they're back in sync. And I think that's good for Trump, and I think it's good for Republicans.
What do you think, Joe?
I had the greatest experience.
Were you there?
Were you there? Were you there?
Nope. Because that afternoon, I was a civilian, and it was really instructive. High school football programs are allowed a couple days of contact with the kids. You do kind of a high school version of OTAs. By 2:30 on Monday afternoon, it was Monday, right? Yeah. I was coaching football, dealing with kids, not on my phone, not living in the political moment. I gotta be honest, almost no coverage broke through. It's not like I didn't clock back in to my political brain that night. These rallies are not permeating the public discourse the way that they used to. It wasn't that I was trying to avoid it. It wasn't that I was actively going and looking for it. It's that I was just like, let's just see. If I'm not on Twitter the whole time, what does this feel like? And what it felt like was very different than how it used to sort of be all-encompassing.
Well, and that's my bigger question. So this is one of many, right? Biden and the Biden administration is going to be here, has been here. Trump will probably come more. Gretchen Whitmer was here on Monday stumping for
Elizabeth
Trump.
Warren
Elizabeth Warren is here on this coming Monday. So how, Joe, I'll let you go first. How much do these visits actually move the needle?
Less than they used to is what one of my theories is after Monday. They're very good for activating and mobilizing the most committed supporters, who are the people who you want clicking on that donate button, going and knocking on doors, volunteering. But I'm not sure that they are effective at all for a middle of the electorate, independents, swing voters, double haters, right?
Yeah,
the people who don't like Trump or Biden aren't like actively, eagerly tuning in to the 90-minute stylings of Donald Trump and
they came to Wisconsin, so now I'm going to vote for him.
Yeah, it's not like that. I think the debate next week is more likely to be that.
Yeah, I do too.
But I just think there's not as much return on the investment of these rallies as there used to be.
Well, and on the Republican side, they're a little like Grateful Dead concerts. So people travel a long ways to go to these things. They're not necessarily all Wisconsinites who were there on Tuesday.
Down there in Racine, huh?
Well, I think these folks came from way down south. So some of them anyway. So I agree with Joe. I don't know that they have the impact that they might have had in 2016. Don't forget, in 2020, Donald Trump's rallies were far bigger than they were in 2016, and he lost.
Yeah.
So they aren't. What do you call them? Noise. They're noise, right? They aren't signal, and so we'll see if the campaigns sort of change. But I'm with Joe. I think next Thursday night is a far bigger deal. I think we're going to have Super Bowl-like viewership for the first presidential debate, and we'll see if that changes anything.
Well, I want to get to that when we come back, but I do have to at least acknowledge that he likes Lake Michigan because there's no sharks. He said that in his speech, which I appreciate.
Totally normal.
All right, well, when we come back, let's get to the state of the race. We're less than a week away from the debate. What are you guys looking for going into that? What will be the signal of who's winning? I am Kristen Bry, in for Steve Scafidi. He's Bill McCoshen, Joe Zepecki. This is a Political Power Hour.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scafidi for Adair Floors, ADAIR, Floors and Remodeling, South 27th Street in Franklin. Have been in business for 65 years. I just worked with their design team on a beautiful new basement landing area, sort of the wood plank look, replace an old grungy dingy linoleum floor. They can help with all your flooring and remodeling needs for your home or business. Family owned and operated right there in Franklin, South 27th Street. Stop in and tell them Scafidi sent you, or visit them online at AdairFloors.com.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guests, Gatish Foundation and J&V Construction. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. Yet at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact NX Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
I'm WTMJ's Sandy Max. What makes senior living at Three Pillars so special? Let's hear from Three Pillars resident Lola.
When I was new, I come in and sit down, and people join me. And you get to know people, talk about feeling welcome. Art class is first early in the morning. Right now, I'm also involved in being a production assistant with a theater group. Every month, they have a supper club with a different theme. First one that I went to, they had a luau. I am so lucky to have ended up in this place, and I think it's one of the best things that ever happened to me.
Schedule a tour today at threepillars.org.
Driving that train, pound cocaine. Casey Jones, you better watch your speed.
Welcome back to the Political Power Hour. I am Kristen Bry, filling in for Steve Scafidi. He will be back on Monday. But we got Joe Zepecki, Bill McCoshen here. And Joe, I know you well enough to know you don't usually like talking about polls.
No.
You think that they're not, the horse race, all the part of that. But there was a shift in the polls this week.
Huzzah!
Do you have...
Scream it from the rooftop.
Is that a Polish phrase?
I was gonna
Huzzah?
say, do you still say they don't matter?
I do.
Okay.
There's an undeniable couple of point shift towards Biden. It still doesn't change my underlying belief, which is they're all fundamentally flawed. Now, if they all move one way, that does tell you something, but it tells you something about a part of the electorate. The race is where it has been, I think, which is a slight edge for Joe Biden. The polling, if it's done anything, has made it easier for me to dunk on my good friend Bill McCoshen. Can we stop with the 34 felony convictions was going to be a political win for Donald Trump? Can we at least stop with that?
So in my defense, I said the week of the convictions that see where this is at in 3 weeks. And it looks like it may have moved a point or two well within the margin of error. It's not a big deal. And I think the listeners understand the difference between national polls and swing state polls. Emerson College released a whole new slew of swing state polls yesterday that showed Trump winning in all of them and tied in Minnesota. So that's where it matters. I'm with Joe. I wouldn't read too much into any of these polls at this point in time. There's about 130 days left in this race, and I think most minds are made up, right? So what will happen with that small sliver of people who are truly undecided that actually vote over the next 130 days will remain to be seen.
And from that perspective, a 3-point shift, if that's really what it is, again, very suspicious of that, that's the ball game. This is going to come down to, in the end, 3 points one way or the other.
But isn't this every election? I mean, what is different besides the fact that it's a rematch? What is different as far as who shows up and the small amount of swing voters in swing states?
Well, there's a new category here, and Joe mentioned them, the double haters, right? We really haven't had that cohort before in polling. Now we do, and Trump seems to have the slight advantage to the double haters at this point in time. That could change, right? There could be something that happens over the next couple of months that people say, I'm not willing to go that direction.
Little history lesson on double haters. So double haters, I really sort of first started looking at in 2016. So these are people who didn't like Hillary Clinton and they didn't like Donald Trump.
Right.
And what happened was, over the final 10 weeks of that race, what you could see was there were weeks, for example, Access Hollywood, where Trump was dominating the coverage. And so the double haters started sliding over to Clinton because they were being more reminded how much they didn't like Donald Trump. Then Jim Comey comes out and says, we're reopening a laptop investigation. Hillary Clinton is in the news more. And those double haters start sliding back to Donald Trump because they're being reminded how much they dislike Hillary Clinton. It's a weird way to think about winning or losing a campaign and swinging a national election, but that's the type of thing that can make all the difference.
Well, what do you think? Do you think his VP choice would make a difference?
I still do. I've always thought that. And I think there are a couple people that really move the needle positively for him.
Is Doug Burgum one of them?
Well,
no.
that's what
I put
Okay,
I'd put Glenn Youngkin and Nikki Haley in that category. Two people that can really move the needle and probably close the deal for him. Doug Burgum, I think, is a safe choice. I don't think he adds anything, but he doesn't subtract either. Probably brings some money to the table. He's been pretty good on the stump for the president, but if you're looking for an additive, does Doug Burgum look like the future of the party? Not to me.
Who does look like
Good night they get to 51. On a bad night they get to 50.
Governor
so
of
why
Ohio's
would you
a Republican?
And not a Trump fan. So
do you think DeWine's going to appoint a Democrat to a
he's not going to
vacancy?
appoint a Democrat, but does he appoint a true conservative?
Is that how it would work? Is if J.D. Vance?
It's how how in almost every state it works. That Republican governors.
Because he's not up for re-election
appoint
anyways.
to the
Yeah, that
Senate.
makes sense. Got it.
Yeah, so
you appoint to fill the vacancy, but there's still a period of time, right? As I understand it, the Trump people have their 100-day plan ready to go. And
yeah, it's called Project 2025. Look it up.
And they're going to do it in something called reconciliation very early in the next Congress. And
get rid of the income tax, all tariffs, all the time, baby.
You can't have a razor-thin margin where you don't know if you can get it done.
If you're a Republican, you can't have a razor-thin margin. Democrats are able to do
We've
this.
had this. Kristen was got to see our texts
I know.
live
I'm so
and in
excited
person.
to be in this text thread now.
Oh my God! So you guys, Democrats, have a far easier ability to manage chaos in D.C. than we do.
Democrats in lockstep, baby.
Nuts
That's the story
go crazy.
of our party.
I mean, Nancy Pelosi could rule with an iron fist. Mike Johnson's still trying to find the restrooms.
Yeah.
That's
tough look for the guy second in line to be
I know,
president.
exactly. All right, well, let's take another break, and when we come back, we'll get to the debate and see if that will move the needle as far as the double haters or the lovers or the undecideds. So stay with us. This is the Political Power Hour.
Wisconsin's Act 60 makes financial literacy a graduation requirement. Make sure your students aren't left behind by partnering with Junior Achievement of Wisconsin. JA offers a ready-to-use financial curriculum tailored to meet Act 60 guidelines, providing an engaging, impactful financial education. Be a part of our commitment to helping every high school in Wisconsin fulfill this requirement. Learn how to partner with us at wisconsin.ja.org. Junior Achievement, inspiring, preparing, succeeding.
Hey, this is Steve Scafidi for Heiser Automotive. I love talking about Heiser. You know that. 5 years driving their great vehicles. Last week was moving week. I dropped off the 2023 Ford Explorer XLT, picked up a 2023 Chevy Equinox. A couple things going on here. One, I love the Chevy Equinox. Great vehicle. A little smaller than the Explorer, but still plenty of room. Kathy and I are going to buy a Chevy Equinox in the summer this year, so we want to see all the features and all the cool stuff. They're loaded. Great gas mileage, all kinds of cool trim levels, a lot of safety features, including the rear vision camera, which we remarked on how clear that picture was. Lane keep assist, all kinds of technology. You get that with Chevy, and all the great models and experiences you find at Heiser Automotive. You can find all of their great cars online at Heiser.com, all the great programs, including Safe and Sound, Roadside Assistance for Life. That's why they say every day at Heiser, and you know this to be true, and I know it from working with them. Every day. Today's your day.
With hail and high winds experienced this year in South Milwaukee, Oak Creek, and surrounding areas, Ridgetop Exteriors has been hard at work helping the community get their homes repaired. If you've experienced damage to your home, you need a local and trusted contractor. Ridgetop Exteriors' expert team specializes in navigating the insurance process so your repairs can get done. And they're happy to come out anytime for a free damage inspection. Schedule your free inspection today at ridgetopexteriors.com. Roofing, siding, windows, and doors. ridgetopexteriors.com.
It's a Fish Fry Friday. WTMJ's John Mercure here. One of my favorite fish fries is at the Mine Shaft restaurant in Hartford. And the Mine Shaft has just lowered the price of their all-you-can-eat fish fry to, listen closely, $6.99. Seriously, $6.99. You don't need to pay $16 or more. Your Mine Shaft fish fry is $6.99. It's all you can eat. It's the best Friday fish fry value anywhere, and it's delicious. For smaller appetites, that two-piece dine-in fish fry is just $4.99. What a value. Relax with an old-fashioned, a Manhattan, an ice-cold brew, or a glass of wine. It's a perfect fish fry. A kid's menu that starts at $3.99, that's pretty perfect, too. And those kids will love the world-class game room quietly tucked away from the dining area. They play safe. You enjoy the rest of your meal. The Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford and in Oshkosh. I love the Hartford location. Walk in today for your all-you-can-eat fish fry for $6.99. And desserts, or buy one, get one free. It's the Mine Shaft.
You want to ride in the rain, you want to go
You want somebody to come bring you flowers. Someone to talk to for hours. Wash your back while y'all sit in the shower. Someone to tell
Where did that come from?
This is Tusi, who is going to be at Summerfest today. Miller Lite Oasis. Maybe he'll be there when I'm there. Spanny the State will be there from 1 to 3 today.
Easy for you to see.
Welcome back to the Political Power Hour. I am obviously not Steve Scafidi. I am Kristen Bry.
I need to expand my horizons. I didn't know Tusi.
You couldn't get Google Dolls tickets.
Right, I couldn't. My daughter and I tried to go to Goo Goo Dolls Saturday night. So if you're listening and you have two you want to sell, let me know.
855-616-1620. I'll give you Bill's number.
Make him an offer.
All right. Well, we are 6 days away from the first presidential debate. Very early. But what are you two looking for as far as what could actually move the needle from when these two old guys show up next week?
Presidential debates are about expectations.
Yeah, no question.
In the 21st century, it is about the expectations. The Trump campaign has suddenly switched within the last 24 hours from doing the Joe Biden can't stand up for 90 minutes, Joe Biden can't string 3 sentences together, to now all of a sudden they're saying, Joe Biden is a worthy debater. I'm not sure it's going to work because they have the right-wing media ecosystem is so good at pushing a narrative, and from these ridiculous videos that they edit to make it look like Joe Biden is wandering off from other world leaders when actually he's going to congratulate a parachuter. We are going to get the Joe Biden that we got in the State of the Union, which is an older fella, but who is in command of the facts, understands the job of being the American president in this time, and is going to communicate what he's done and what he wants to do while drawing a contrast with Donald Trump. It's not going to be the most exciting delivery you've ever seen. It doesn't have to be.
Doesn't have to be.
Because Republicans have so lowered the bar, he's just got to show up and be a normal human being for 90 minutes. And the big question I have is what it's going to sound like. We've got this rule in the CNN debate where if the candidate isn't talking, their mics get cut.
Yeah.
I don't believe that is going to be enough to dissuade Donald Trump from rambling on or heckling Joe Biden when he's talking, which actually might hurt the presentation. Because if Trump is distracting Biden in the room, but the viewer at home can't hear Trump, that I'm a little worried about that. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. You were worried because you think it's going to distract Biden, or you think you're worried because Trump's going to look bad?
It's not going to look bad enough for Trump. In the 2020 debates where Trump walked in with COVID and tried to kill Joe Biden, what you heard, because he was constantly hollering, his mic was on, so you could tell that what Biden was doing when he was like, oh, shut up, man. Oh, come on, man. You knew he was talking to Trump.
I see what you're saying.
But this time, if Trump's mic is off, but he's still doing that nonsense,
and Biden's
10 feet away, and it's like, would you cut it out? Would you give me a break? They're going to be like, who the hell is Joe Biden talking to?
Well, and I think, Bill, how much do you feel like Trump is going to be corralled into staying on message versus doing the thing that Trump does and going for it?
I agree with Joe. This is all about expectations. And I'll counsel my friends on the right that I don't think Joe Biden is taking the week off because he's an old man and he needs the rest. If you look back in even recent history, sitting presidents generally lose the first debate.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to do.
Donald Trump lost the debate, and I think the election to Joe Biden in 2020. Barack Obama lost his debate in 2012 to Mitt Romney.
But even Bill Clinton, who was a great debater,
lost, right? I mean, to Bob Dole. I mean, it is. They think they don't need to prepare, right?
Mr. President.
Taking the time off to prepare, I'm going to give him and his team credit for that. I think it's smart. Does it also provide him rest? Sure, it does. I would not lower expectations for Biden. He's been doing this for 55 years. He's quite good at it. He surprisingly beat a very bright young Paul Ryan in 2012 in the primary debate or the VP debate. I would not undersell him. For Trump, I think it all comes down to style. He has to, in my opinion, provide contrast to his administration versus the Biden administration but doing it in a way that connects with viewers. I think this will be Super Bowl-like viewership. I think it'll exceed 50 million. It'll be the highest in debate history, but you want to connect with those people, and you want to remind them the good things that they liked about you. And if you're shouting at the other guy, you're going to remind them what they didn't like about you.
Give me the under on the 50 million. It's going to be determined by the clips that fly around the internet. The other thing I will predict is I think we're going to get 5 minutes at the top of Trump seeming normal, which is what his team is going to tell him. Hey, you're ahead. You don't have to do a lot. He's going to be normal and reserved. And then after about 5 minutes, he's not going to be able to do it anymore because he's not a disciplined candidate. And you're going to see the crazy stream of consciousness guy for the remaining 85 minutes.
Do you think so?
I'm hopeful that isn't the
it's
case.
More than 5 minutes where he seems normal.
I think there are good contrasts he can make throughout on a variety of the issues that voters really care about, and he ought to stick to that.
All right. Well, we got bottom of the hour news coming up, but while we are at break, the Supreme Court has some rulings, so we better go read those so we can come back and talk about it. But he is Bill McCoshen. He is Joseph Ecke. I am Kristen Bry, in for Steve Scafidi. This is the Political Power Hour. I don't know about you guys. I'm having a good time. Are you guys having fun? Am I holding my own with you two?
You are.
Watch out, Scafidi.
All right. ABC News and local headlines are next.
This is a special report from ABC News, Supreme Court gun ruling. I'm Sherry Preston. In an 8-1 decision, the Supreme Court has upheld a law that said anyone facing a domestic violence restraining order can be barred from owning a gun. ABC's Brian Clark has more on the background of the arguments.
Federal law prohibits anyone under a domestic abuse restraining order from owning a gun. Gun advocates like Aiden Johnston claim that violates the Second Amendment.
Judges often issue mutual restraining orders, which disarms both the victim and the abuser at the same time.
But Lachey Cridgen of Louisiana said that's not what happened in 1996 when she was shot 5 times by her ex-boyfriend.
I've lived through what will become a reality for far too many.
Brian Clark, ABC News.
We are still waiting on some other big cases, including one that will decide whether presidents, including Donald Trump, should have absolute immunity from criminal prosecution for actions taken while in office. This is ABC News.
Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 9:31. Shots fired on a Milwaukee freeway. An 18-year-old woman losing her unborn child after she was involved in an alleged armed robbery and carjacking turned police chase. She was one of 6 people in a vehicle that Milwaukee police say they pursued onto I-43 Thursday. Officers saying that the suspects ignored orders to get out of the vehicle and instead backed that car up into a squad car, at which point police opened fire, striking the woman and also a 17-year-old male. A hotel in Wauwatosa that closed down 3 months ago is going to be opening up for the Republican National Convention. The Radisson Hotel on Mayfair Road says it'll house around 150 guests for the RNC next month. The hotel did previously close for good back in March. And the federal judge presiding over the classified documents case against former President Donald Trump is hearing arguments today on a long-shot defense effort that could get the indictment thrown out on grounds that the prosecutor who brought those charges was illegally appointed. The arguments today are over the legality of special counsel Jack Smith's appointment, kicking off a 3-day hearing that's set to continue into next week. The trial date for that has been indefinitely suspended. Time now for some news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Mixed results on Wall Street today. The Dow's up right now 100 points at 39,234. The Nasdaq down 60 points at 17,660. The S&P 500 down 11 points at 5462. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. It's financial planning at every level. Details right now at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at your roads and your Johnson & Sons paving, time saver traffic. Things are looking pretty good across the system outside of a stretch of 894 heading westbound, basically between the Mitchell and the Hale. There is that ongoing construction work between 27th Street and about 60th. So you'll be on the brakes if you're headed in that direction. Elsewhere, a couple of disabled vehicles, though they're off on the shoulder in every instance, and things are looking pretty good. Your WTMJ 5-day forecast, partly cloudy skies, humid today, chance of an evening shower, possible thunderstorm, a high 77. Overnight tonight, chance for a shower and storm, a low 66. Tomorrow, hot and humid, partly cloudy skies, chance of a rain shower, a high of 88. Sunday, mostly sunny skies, a high of 81 degrees. Monday, sunny, 81's your high. Tuesday, hot and humid, partly cloudy, a high of 90 degrees. Right now in Milwaukee, it's 69 degrees. I'm Mike Spalding, citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Times, 9:34.
Small business owners, we know tackling your to-do list can sometimes feel like going 12 rounds against a heavyweight champ. Except that heavyweight's gloves are made of something hard, like diamonds. So when a new to-do pops up, you're like, I can't. I'm boxing my diamond boxing glove-wearing heavyweight champ of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy with over 30 customizable coverage options, so you can finally land a knockout blow. See if you can save on business insurance in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
You may think this is a bit odd.
Try me.
I've always been an arm girl.
Do you mean farm girl?
No, I said arm girl.
You're right. That's odd.
Some people are attracted to a person's eyes,
hair color,
smile,
or kneecaps.
But I am a sucker for arms.
Well then, Penny Mustard has a sofa for you. Ah, yes, the Just Your Style 8000.
Oh, you know it.
The arms on the Just Your Style 8000 are as beautiful as they come.
Are arm piercings a thing? Because it totally works on this sofa.
American made with solid wood frame, individual seat springs, ultra high resiliency foam cushions,
and hundreds of fabric and leather options.
Including pet and kid-friendly fabrics. So you really like arms, huh?
Especially forearms.
Really? Most people I know only have 2. The Just Your Style sofa, starting at $23.69 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com. Better versions of what people want.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
All right, which of you is going to see Motley Crue at the American Family Amphitheater?
I didn't know they were here. I would consider that. That is in my...
Really? You would?
Yes. They are in my
You think they still rock out?
I do.
Very special teenager from our house going to see tonight. 19 years old. I was very surprised when I heard she was interested in going to see Motley Crue.
Really?
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Have you guys seen The Dirt, the movie about them?
No.
It's pretty good.
No, but I did just see that Dan from Dan of Top Chef fame has a food booth at Summerfest.
Yeah,
Nobody
so
told me this.
He's slinging noodles.
Dan was robbed on Top Chef. We probably don't have time to
We
get
probably
into it.
I think that's out of the scope of this show.
First time
but we can
there's
talk
been
about
a
it after.
questionable election result.
You may have to go on the afternoon show, Spanning the Globe, right?
Exactly. You could come with us. All right. Welcome back. This is Political Power Hour. I am in for Steve Scafidi. I am Kristen Bry, Bill McCoshen, Joe Zepecki. So we got some news. We got another Supreme Court ruling. I will show my bias in this, that I, as someone who cares a lot about the increasing amount of domestic violence and deaths, especially in Milwaukee, I think they got this one right. It was 8-1 that now they've upheld that domestic abusers cannot own a gun.
Temporarily. They can be taken away. What I like about it, Kristen, is that it was 8-1, right?
Yeah.
The knock on this Supreme Court is it's highly partisan, 6-3, conservative to liberal, and in this case, it wasn't. It was overwhelming in favor of this. I think they got this right. I think taking away a weapon in the heat of the moment with an opportunity to get that back with the right mechanism, and none of us have had time to read the opinion, so we don't know what that mechanism is yet, but I think it makes sense, right? I think you want to de-escalate wherever possible, and I think the Supreme Court got this right, and more importantly, they got it right almost unanimously.
Now make it make sense how this getting it right compares to the bump stock ruling, which from my standpoint makes no sense whatsoever. So a little history on this. After the shooting in Las Vegas, where at 800 rounds a minute, a bump stock was used to shoot literally hundreds of people. I think only 60 or 59 died, thank goodness. But a bump stock converts a semi-automatic weapon into something that can fire much faster, much more like a machine gun, which since like 1900 has been against the law according to U.S. code. After that 2017 shooting, Donald Trump, by executive order, said we are banning bump stocks because they turn semi-automatic weapons into machine guns. And nobody stood up and cried foul or said anything. But, a litigant goes to the Supreme Court and they throw this out. And in the decision, throwing it out, Justice Alito says, by the way, this is the way that it was done via executive order is really the problem here. So if Congress wants to ban bump stocks, go right ahead. The next day, Chuck Schumer and Democrats go to the floor of the Senate and say, here's a bill that will ban bump stocks. We shouldn't have machine guns in the hands of civilians like we haven't had for time immemorial, and Senate Republicans block it. Make it make sense. Make the decision make sense. Make Republicans going against Donald Trump. When Donald Trump was president, he wanted this. What are we doing?
Don't Democrats have the majority in the Senate?
But Republicans blocked it with the filibuster.
So the bump stock issue was a process question. It was about who did it and how it was done. It was done through executive order. It was done by Trump. And I think the Supreme Court probably got that right, too, that there was a government overreach.
And isn't there an argument to be, sorry to cut you off, Bill, that as much as it's people accuse it of being a partisan court, I feel like this has been the trend of insisting that legislators
do their job.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's because we're so partisan and the bar is so high of how our government is set up that it has to take collaboration and compromise. And we're just not doing, the bigger we are not doing that. But it's instead of having the courts make our decisions because Congress can't get things done, they're insisting that Congress try to get stuff done.
But I'm good with that. Right? I mean, I think that's what the democracy is supposed to be about. We the people, elected by our duly elected representatives, and they can't seem to solve problems in a lot of different cases. And so executives of both parties have overreached and tried to solve these problems by executive order. I've never thought they've had this authority. And whether it's bump stocks or a variety of other things, I mean, the Constitution gives the power to create the laws to the Congress, not to the executive.
But the U.S. Code already outlaws machine guns, and the lengths that Thomas and others in the majority on this decision went to try to justify the distinction between pulling the trigger and holding it down, and multiple rounds firing, as opposed to pulling it and then getting out of the way so the bump stock can work. Well, you only pulled the trigger once, so maybe it's not a machine gun. If it's firing 800 rounds a minute, it's a machine gun.
I mean, listen, I'm going to be on the side of in my perfect world, do bump stocks not exist? Do I not understand why we need them? Of course. I just don't the legal side of this and the process side.
Right.
It's absurd. But again, my main point is great. The Supreme Court is another broken institution, sadly. Senate Republicans
today would suggest the opposite.
Why would you block this? If you were a Senate Republican,
it's the opposite. And I think they have 34 decisions they're going to release between today and Wednesday. 23. Okay. I'm hoping that they're all 7-2, 8-1, 9-0. Right? That they've agreed on the law. I think that's in everyone's interest. The fewer 5-4 decisions we have over the next 6 days is in all of our interests, so that everything doesn't become hyper political.
All right.
And we both agree that presidents do not have blanket immunity. Joe Biden can't drone Donald Trump before the debate because he doesn't want to debate him. So what the heck is taking so long with this presidential immunity decision?
Could be today, could be
Politicians
Wednesday.
in robes are dragging their feet to push off justice for the American people who deserve to know.
You wanted them to speed up their process.
Right.
This is their normal process.
Whether Trump is guilty for crimes committed around January 6th.
We promise to be nice with our new host.
No, you don't have to be nice to me. We have to obey the clock. The clock is the tyrant. All right. When we come back, the Political Junkie PowerPoint is sponsored by Two Men and a Junk Trunk. Keep what you love, ditch what you don't. twomenandajunktrunk.com. We're going to get to that, what they want to keep, what they want to throw away when we come back.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scafidi for Universal Windows Direct. Spring is here. It's only going to get hotter from here on out. Do not cool off the outside of your house this year. Call my guys at Universal Windows Direct. Super spacer technology. What does that mean? It keeps the edge of the glass warmer, holds the window seal longer, and makes the windows last up to 5 times longer than other window systems. So your windows from Universal Windows Direct perform better and last longer. Plus, Universal Windows Direct backs it up with a true lifetime warranty as long as you own the home and a 20-year warranty to the next homeowner. Plus, 0% financing for 60 months. Updating your windows with Universal Windows Direct means extra protection from the elements, a consistent temperature in your home, increased energy efficiency, and reduced heating and cooling costs, plus a quieter and more comfortable home. For every 2 windows you buy, you get the next 2 free, plus 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years. Restrictions apply. Tell them I told you to call. Get an additional $250 off your project. Go to uwd.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
A good neighbor would give you a cup of sugar if you asked. At Truestone Financial, we don't have any sugar, but we do have something even sweeter. Open and use a Truestone checking account, and we'll give you up to $350 cash back. It's not exactly what the recipe called for, but $350 can buy you a lot of cookies. It's true, because we're Truestone. Learn more and sign up at truestone.org. Offer subject to terms and conditions. Recipient responsible for applicable taxes. Membership required.
A buck doesn't buy much unless you're spending it at Griffin. For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, $1 over our cost, free tire repair, and lifetime rotation. We'll even show you the invoice to prove it. Our only requirements is we put them on for you. Buy one or a whole set. The dollar deal from Griffin, Milwaukee, Waukesha, Fort Atkinson, and Jefferson. Griffin, the buck stops here, but the deals on tires don't. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers. Fleet Farm's got everything you need for everyday life. Brands from Carhartt to Milwaukee to Purina to Goodyear to Rapala to Levi's and a whole lot more. In-store or online, check out all the brands Fleet Farm carries to help make your everyday life better.
For the ultimate sports betting experience, get in the game at Potawatomi Sportsbook. Unleash your inner champion with dozens of betting kiosks, a VIP deck, high-end bar, first-class restaurant, broadcast booth, a 2,000 square foot video wall, and more. It's a sports fan's paradise, 24/7. Bet above the rest. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Visit the website for more. Must be 21 years old. All bets must be made on site.
Finally, warmer weather, green grass, birds chirping. Don't spend your weekend surrounded by all that junk. Get your free, no obligation, same day estimate from Two Men and a Junk Truck. You'll restore your sanity and reclaim your space when Two Men and a Junk Truck pulls in your driveway. Visit twomenandajuncktruck.com for your free, no obligation estimate today.
Keep what you love, ditch what you don't.
It's time for the Political Junkie PowerPoint, sponsored by Two Men and a Junk Truck. Keep what you love, ditch what you don't. twomenandajuncktruck.com. Joining Kristen Bry, here's Joe Zepecki and Bill McCoshen.
All right, this is a newer segment that I am excited to be a part of. Bill, what are you keeping? What are you ditching?
Okay, so this week I am keeping Speaker Robin Vos. It appears he has survived a second attempt at a recall against him. He's also had his primary opponent drop out in his race for his new seat. He doesn't get enough credit for what he does for the Republican movement, the conservative movement. He's one of the smartest guys in the Capitol. He works his tail off for the entire team, and I was glad to see him survive it. So I'm keeping Robin Vos. I am junking Alvin Bragg, the Manhattan DA who decided to let 34 students who trespassed, committed hate crimes against Jews, off with no penalty for what they did at Columbia University. There's 2 sets of justice in New York. If you're a violent criminal, Alvin Bragg is going to let you go. If you're a Trump, he's going to throw you in the clink. I'm junking Alvin Bragg.
All right. Joe Zepecki.
I am keeping the state of the economy in the state of Wisconsin. Record employment. There has never been a time where more people were working in the state of Wisconsin than right now. Unemployment is at 2.9%. I will just note, parenthetically, we happen to have a Democratic governor and a Democratic president right now. Times are pretty good. I am junking specifically hypocrisy in our politics relating to the Louisiana decision to put the 10 Commandments in schools. I am junking every Republican who runs out and sings hosannas to Donald Trump, who is an adulterer, who puts other gods before God, who has broken, who jokes about shooting someone on Fifth Avenue in violation of certainly the spirit of thou shalt not kill. And Republicans like Lauren Boebert, who has like, and this is sad actually, like her son is facing legal troubles in the same way it's sad that Hunter Biden is facing legal troubles. Her son is like facing 22 counts of theft and robbery.
Is this the one who is still like a teenager and is going to have a kid soon, or has a kid?
And the piousness from these Republican politicians who in one breath will defend anything that Donald Trump does and then talk about the value of the 10th Commandment in schools. Spare me the hypocrisy. Sit down, shut up, junk it.
All right. I like this segment.
I'm going to call him Larry Summers Jr. He brings economic statistics every week. I love it. The passion he brings those with.
Well,
sooner or later, voters might actually agree with you.
I don't know if this is a keep it or junk it, but I just would like to point out, as far as my story for this week, is the fact that Capitol Hill turned into Capitol Grill with the Boeing CEO. And just a reminder that in the last 10 years, only 2 people have died on airplanes.
Safest way to travel.
While 365,000 in America have died in car crashes. And no, we're not doing a lot as far as Capitol grilling when it comes to how to make driving safer.
Do we have a minute for another little funny one that I wanted to junk this week? I'm no longer the youngest person.
The more you take
in the
here,
room.
the less grab bag you have.
This will be quick. I met someone this week who started working on Capitol Hill after January 6th, which was very difficult for someone who worked on Capitol Hill before 9/11 to stomach. I am old.
You are old.
All right, when we come back, we'll wrap things up with the grab bag. This is the Political Power Hour.
There are a lot of interesting people and traditions in Wisconsin. 1 hour of covering culture and creativity in our state is simply not enough. I'm Sandy Max of WTMJ's What's on Tap with the happy news that my show is now expanded to 2 hours. So please join me weeknights from 6 till 8 for updates on festivals, films, food, music, theater, and other ways we love to make the most of Wisconsin life. What's on Tap with Sandy Max weeknights now from 6 till 8 on WTMJ. And subscribe to the What's on Tap podcast to listen anytime you want.
Hey, this is Steve Scafidi for Advent. I had some snoring issues that kept my wife up at night. That led to poor sleep and a lot of tired mornings on the radio, and nobody wants that, trust me. But it's simply, my nose wasn't working the way it should. I decided to go to Advent for a quick 30-minute visit, one of their great facilities, talk to a bunch of their doctors. They really put me at ease. After a really simple sleep study at home, in my own bed, they determined the root cause of my problem had to do with my sinuses and nasal passages in my breathing triangle. I didn't even know I had a breathing triangle, so I went to see Advent. After a short procedure done in office, I'm back to breathing well, and my wife and I are both back to sleeping through the whole night. The best sleep we've ever had, that could be you. If you struggle with restless nights like I did, take the time to see how Advent can help. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your life and your nights a whole lot better, go to AdventKnows.com, schedule an appointment today. Because Advent knows, when you breathe well, you live better.
There's a reason people sold to Grandview Homes instead of using a real estate agent.
Very fair price. No real estate agent fees or closing costs.
Within weeks, we had closed and couldn't be happier.
Visit GrandviewHomes.com to discover the easiest and fastest way to sell a home.
When you and your spouse go to a movie, you go at the same time, right? When it comes to Social Security, it might make sense for you to claim benefits at different times. It's critical that you correctly time your benefits. If you get it right, you could add thousands of extra dollars to your retirement income. Do you know the timing that's best for your situation? Our team at Drake & Associates will analyze your Social Security options as part of your retirement-ready roadmap. You have one chance to claim your Social Security benefits, and that decision will impact you for the rest of your life. Claim your free Retirement Ready Toolkit that has guides on Social Security. Call or text SS to 414-409-9982. That's calling or texting SS to 414-409-9982.
Investment advisory services provided by Drake & Associates, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Insurance products are offered through a separate company, Loft Financial Advisory Group, LLC, a Wisconsin insurance agency. Clients are under no obligation to purchase any recommended insurance products.
Is your lawn more yellow than green already this spring? Vince Vitrano for Great Lakes Landscape, Southeast Wisconsin's premier lawn, landscape, and snow management company. Time is now to sign up for a season-long fertilizer and weed treatment program that'll have your lawn looking tip-top in no time. Fresh mulch for the flower beds, or a full landscape maintenance package, that's available too. This is the go-to team for patios and new construction landscape as well. Tell them you want your lawn looking as good as mine. Great Lakes Landscape. That's Great Lakes Landscape, WTMJ,
W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
I am Kristen Bry, in for Steve Scafidi on the Political Power Hour. Just quickly, we just finished the Political Junkie PowerPoint, which is sponsored by Two Men and a Junk Truck. Keep what you love, ditch what you don't, twomenandajuncktruck.com. But now we are finishing up with the grab bag. Joe, you go first.
I just finished reading The Situation Room by George Stephanopoulos, a terrific story about the men and women who staff the nerve center, the crisis center for the American president. It's an interesting look, good, bad, and otherwise, at all of the American presidents really since Kennedy, but remarkable stories, the sacrifices and service of the individuals who make that room go. Everyone should read that book to understand the stakes of any election for president, especially this one.
My grab bag, Kristen, is about Summerfest, one of the things that makes Milwaukee a great city. All the cool things that happen on the lake, between mid-June and the State Fair in early August. Polish Fest, Joe's favorite festival last week. Summerfest the next 3 weekends. Festa Italia and more and more and more. Irish Fest. Take an opportunity to come on down and see this stuff. Even if you just eat and people watch, which my wife and I like to do, or if you enjoy the bands, it's a great night or a great day. And I encourage you to take advantage of all Milwaukee has to offer. It's one of the things that makes Milwaukee great.
I totally agree. As far as there's very few places I would rather be than here in the summer.
Yeah.
All right. So my final thing is just a fun. So there was a little pop culture mixed with a little Wisconsin news. There was 2 stories about a guy who got pulled over by police this week. One was Justin Timberlake.
Right.
And one was Brad Schimel.
Right.
So my question for both of you, who do you think was more indignant when they got pulled over by the
Backlog Brad, for sure.
Timberlake all the way.
This is going to ruin the world tour.
Timberlake all the way. I may have commented on this on social media, and the backlash from the left was like incredible. Wow.
About the Schimel story?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's much ado about nothing.
What was your take on it?
That it was much ado about nothing. Right?
I kind of agree with that.
Because when a law enforcement officer asks you, is there anything else you should know? People
that
often
isn't
say
what he asked.
People often say things like, I'm a veterinarian.
No, do you have...
I'm a radio host.
Would you not, though? That's my thing. It's like, I also feel like he's still human. And if you are a judge, there's a little bit like,
You might as well
know
say,
who I am?
I don't know if you know this, but I'm kind of a big deal. You wouldn't say that.
No, stop. He got asked if there were any outstanding warrants or probation issues they should be aware of, and he said, well, no, I'm a judge. Right? It fit very well in the context of the entire conversation, which sadly the story didn't include.
So judges
much ado
are
about
beyond
nothing.
reproach.
They're not. He got a ticket.
Citizens.
He did get a ticket.
If he was a hot woman, he would have gotten off.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Political Power Hour. This has been so fun to spend time with you guys this Friday. Have a great weekend.
Grandpa was long retired from working in the Rapids paper mill when I finished law school.
Dan Krause, Army veteran and owner of Krause Estate Planning and Elder Law Center.
Grandpa and Grandma asked me to help them get their wills set up. They worried about losing the homestead if they needed nursing care. This was my first experience with estate planning. I just loved it. During the years that I spent in the Army Reserves as a JAG attorney, I was building a small estate planning law firm. After retiring from 21 years in the Army, I've been growing the firm with 3 offices now to help more seniors like my grandparents. At Krause Estate Planning, our entire team loves helping seniors. It's a requirement in our recruiting process. We do help people of all ages, but we hope all of our clients will become seniors one day.
Krause Estate Planning and Elder Law Center in Brookfield, Madison, and Oregon. A veteran-owned law firm.
Krause Estate Planning and Elder Law Center.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here. We've made it to that wonderful time in Wisconsin when everyone likes to be outside. The gardening, the golfing, the swimming. But not you, because your knee hurts or your hips are bothering you and you don't want to do anything that could mean needing surgery. Hey, I get it. But here's the thing. You don't need surgery to feel better. That's where QC Kinetics comes in. Non-surgical joint pain relief